Hello, thanks for joining us today. My name is Kelly Whitaker and I'm the principal at Ottawa High School.
Hello, my name is Stella Tharp. I'm the College and Career Specialist and CTE Coordinator for Ottawa High School.
Today we're going to talk with you a little bit about our journey through community partnerships here at Ottawa High School. This has really been a 15-year journey, and over the course of the last several years, we have really seen a lot of our work come together for the benefit of our students, and it's really allowed us to personalize the opportunities that we can give our kids. And we're going to talk with you a little bit about kind of our story and what led us down the path that we're currently on. So first off, I think it's really important that you have to know your community and you have to know your students. And so here in Ottawa, Kansas, we have generational poverty. We have a large number of free and reduced students. And we knew that 15 years ago when this journey started, a lot of our students weren't even completing high school, let alone thinking about moving on to a post-secondary opportunity. And so our vision is really that we want all of our students, no matter what their end goal is, to leave here as graduates with the knowledge, the skills, and the behaviors to have life-sustaining employment. And so that is really what is the catalyst of all that we have done through building our community partners in a variety of ways.
As we started thinking about this whole process, we realized that we have a certain number of students who stay in this community. They don't ever leave, and we weren't reaching those students and helping them to fulfill the mission of Ottawa High School. And as a result of that, we had to go and we had to start looking at what are student needs. How can we help them, first off, understand what their goals are, set those goals, and then figure out ways to attain those goals. One of the ways we did that was by going out and talking with our local businesses and such entities as Franklin County Economic Development, our Chamber of Commerce, and figuring out what are ways that we could get students out into the community, see the professionals in our community, understand that our community has a lot of careers that are not low paying, low skill jobs. We have a lot of individuals in our community that hold professional related jobs. And so we had to help our students understand this and learn that these opportunities can exist for them if they stay in school, if they set goals, and if they look at what opportunities are provided for in our community for them.
So when we look at kind of just telling our story a little bit, the biggest thing for any principals or any administrators that are sitting out there, I often get asked, how do we do all the things that we do with our community partnerships and our pathways through our CTE program here at Ottawa High School? And first and foremost, you have to have a staff that believes in your mission, and you have to have a staff that is willing to go above and beyond every day for your kids and really be willing to think outside the box, because 90% of what we do here is we think outside the box for kids, and we truly do our best to create individual paths for each of our students, no matter what career pathway that they're involved in, no matter what their courses that they are taking here at the high school, to try to help them individually get to those end goals like Stella mentioned at the end of the day. Because I can't express to you enough how important it is for us to get our kids to believe in themselves. Our kids have to believe that they are bigger and that they are better than those minimum wage paying jobs at Walmart or at our local fast food places. That those are great jobs to have when you're in high school, but we want them to go after more. And even if that's that manager position within that work environment, we want to make sure we're building up their skills to get there. So where this started was this journey about 15 years ago. It was really, we looked at, we are not a school where a lot of our kids were going to post-secondary. So how can we bring those options into our building at a rate that our kids can afford, with instructors that can provide more of that one-on-one attention that our kids need to be successful in those college courses, hoping that we're going to build that confidence up and that they will take those college courses that they're earning and move on to some sort of a post-secondary opportunity, whether that's at a technical college, whether that's here at Neosho Community College in our town, or even on to a four-year institution. So we started by creating a really strong partnership with Neosho Community College alongside our CTE pathways. One of the really cool things that we can offer our students is what's called a C3 initiative. There's a picture here in the corner, and I know it's a little difficult to see, but if you email Stella or I, we could get that to you. But basically, we have a program that where our students can start taking courses in their sophomore year, and if they stay on track, they can earn an associate's degree from Neosho Community College in conjunction with their Ottawa High School diploma. We were super excited last year. We had our first student who was able to earn her Neosho Community College associate degree and Ottawa High School diploma. We tried our best through the pandemic to celebrate her and to make sure that we bragged about that amazing feat that that young lady did. We're really excited. Stella is in this position. This is her second year, and we have done a much better job of advertising this. And we have several of our incoming freshmen whose parents are asking really good questions, and they're super engaged and intrigued by this C3 initiative. The other thing that we've done, this is my third year as the principal here at Ottawa High School, and through the leadership of Stella, we have really reached out to other post-secondary institutions. So how can we take it beyond what Neosho has to offer? What else is out there that we can get our students to engage in through their career pathways, especially down at that application level? And so we are starting to have some students take some online classes through Allen Community College. We have a great partnership with Flint Hills, and we're trying to work with Ottawa University and develop a couple other partnerships as we continue down this path to provide all the opportunities we can for our students.
Our community business and industry connections has really blossomed in the last few years. Our superintendent has been very active in our local Franklin County Economic Development Council, and that has established some relationships with some of the major businesses in our community. We are also in the process of developing another logistical park for businesses to come to our community. And so we know that as our businesses work together with our school, that we are able to provide opportunities. Some of the things we are looking for in the future are boot camps for our kiddos that are students, that want to go into architect. We're working with our local healthcare providers to see what opportunities we can provide for our students in the healthcare field. For us, there's no limit. We go after whatever we can go after, and we try to incorporate as many opportunities that we can find that fits the needs of our students.
And I think it's fair to say that statement is so true. For example, we have a senior who is very interested in mortuary science. So we have a great brand new partnership with one of our local funeral parlors, and she has worked with them over the summer. She is getting ready to enter her second year of internship with them. And it has been a great brand new partnership that we have created. And without that student having that unique interest, I don't know that that's a partnership that we would have ever sought out for Ottawa High School.
In addition, our local law enforcement, for example, will sponsor our students that complete the LLPS pathway, and they offer scholarships and a cadet program, which when the student reaches age and they can go through the proper training, then our local city police force will take a look at hiring them and have them do even more activities as they get older and they get more training. It, our kids get experience working in our local detention facility and understanding what it is that they can do besides just being a law enforcement officer.
Our fire science program.
Fire science, yeah. We have a fire science program, and we've got kiddos right now who are working with our rural fire departments to get added experience before they go off. And one young man in particular is going to Hutchinson Community College to finish his degree. He already took an Excel and CTE class this summer before his senior year, and that's just the kind of commitment that when these kids find their passion, they are really, really willing to extend themselves and take any opportunity that we can put in front of them.
And I think it's important to note that our fire science program is taught through our local fire department. So they come into our building for 2 periods of the day and they teach Fire Science 1 and Fire Science 2. And that's how we're able to offer that opportunity for our students. So again, we couldn't do or offer most of the pathways that we offer our students without the great partnerships that we have in our community. If our fire department wasn't willing to come in, if our police department wasn't willing to partner up with our LPSS teacher, there's no way that we would be able to have the knowledge, the expertise, and the experience to offer some of those things to our students.
And again, our part of the rationale behind our businesses being involved is the fact that we want to keep our students here in our community, even if they go away and go to college or go to attend any post-secondary. We want them to come back and live, bring their families here, and provide for our community in ways that hasn't been accessed before. Our early childhood program within the last 5 years has provided 5 teachers for our school district that have gone off of their elementary education degree, and they're coming back, and our district hired them. So they are right now teaching in our classrooms in USD 290.
The other piece that we added last year, and I know that this has been more of a push at the secondary level, is we added advisory. It was the first time, probably in a really long time, that Ottawa High School had ever done anything like that. And so really our focus was social emotional during that time. We work with our site council here at the building. We have just different organizations that we work through. And Stella does a great job of pushing out our Zello activities during that time. But we find that to be extremely important. And the other piece to that is our advisory groups of adults that we look for in our community. We look for their expertise to come in and meet with our instructors, to meet with us, to push us, to challenge our thinking about how can we continue to broaden what we are offering our students. And I would say that in the last 2 years that I've been here, a lot of the improvements to some of our CTE pathways have come out of those advisory groups. And I think it's important when you're forming those and you have your teachers forming them, you have to help your teachers find the right people in your community, because they might have a buddy or they might know someone who's maybe a financial advisor, but might not be a mover and a shaker. And you want to have a good representation of your community, a good mix of businesses and organizations that are on each of your advisory groups if you truly want to use them in the function that they are meant to be, which is to continue to push and move that pathway to create greater opportunities for your students. But those are huge benefits to us here at Ottawa High School.
For example, last year we got a phone call from a gentleman that worked with an agency, and he offered us a plane for our aviation program. And being able to bring that plane here so our kids in the aviation maintenance pathway could work on it, be able to put it together. That brought in our local airport, and then there's a special group of folks that work with kids that are interested in becoming a pilot. So all those entities came together as we try to figure out how to get that plane here so that our students can work on it. And again, it's a team effort. It's not something that we could do on our own, but because of the interest and the fact that these folks serve on advisory boards, they are able to help us push the limit as to what we can offer for our kids.
Absolutely. And that's where that staff belief in your mission. I mean, you not only does this have to be the mission within your building, we are blessed that that is the mission of our school district. Our school district, kindergarten through 12th grade, all believes in this mission. And yes, at the high school is kind of where we have the pinnacle of all these opportunities. But right now, we've been working a lot on how can we take these opportunities down to our elementary, over to our middle school that's right next door, and make sure that those kids, when they get here as freshmen, they already know about all these amazing opportunities and they're not figuring them out as they're stumbling through their freshman year or their sophomore year trying to navigate high school. And so it's really important to have that whole staff belief. And I think if your district shares that mission and that vision, it can really be a huge catalyst in where the limit. There's really no limit in what you can do for your kids.
Which brings up the next point with communication. In the last few years, we have done a much better job of holding informational sessions for our parents. This last year, for example, instead of having that one long meeting for our incoming freshmen, we chose to break it up a couple of nights so that parents could understand the difference between some of the academic things we offer and some of the career and technical education opportunities that are available here at OHS. In addition, we brought in folks for FAFSA so that if parents had questions about filling out the FAFSA, we had professionals here that could help them finish that process so that their kids could get those scholarships and those loans that that are needed in order for them to be successful in the future. So again, that communication piece, keeping that flowing between all parties.
Absolutely. Big piece of our school redesign has been our innovative scheduling. And so right now we've really worked on cycling hour. And so it's a portion of our day in the middle of the day where all of our students have access to all of their teachers. Many of our kids are busy in extracurricular activities, and a lot of them go to work. And they go to work for many hours after school. And they don't have time to email their teacher or to ask for help or to stay after school to make up an assessment or whatever it is that they missed for a variety of reasons. So by creating that in our day and allowing our students to have access not only to our teachers, but then we took it a step further and where we started in second semester before the pandemic hit is how can we bring in some of these community partners? How can we have some of these information sessions right there during the day, during cycling hour, with some lunch and learns with our students? And so we just barely got started with that. And then we were kind of put on hold. Right now, we're doing a half day hybrid schedule, so we don't have cycling hour, but our wheels are spinning about what else can we do for our kids before and after school to continue to support them without that being there. Our schedule is going to continue to be a huge part of our innovation. Our ultimate goal here at Ottawa High School is to have a flex mod schedule, which will allow our students to really, it will allow us to really personalize things for our students, and they can take more than what we offer. They can take less than what we offer. We hope it will be easier to find time for them to do their internships. The one silver lining in the pandemic has been we have kids taking more than 8 classes right now because they're here for a half day. So they come to their courses, and some of them are coming back in the afternoon to engage in an additional course that they otherwise wouldn't be able to engage in. We are able to be super creative with a lot of our internships right now. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, it's created a lot of extra work on the adult side of things, but it is creating some phenomenal opportunities for our kiddos on the back end as far as where and when they can go to those internships because they're not stuck with this tight 8 period schedule and there's no wiggle room around it. So that's going to be continuing to be a part of our innovation. And I have no doubt that the more innovative we can be with our schedule, we will be able to really enhance these partnerships and really, truly, when we all talk about individualizing things for kids, I think we will really get to that part where we are being way more intentional with our individualization and meeting the needs of each student individually.
And and as we are in creating schedules that individualize learning for students, we're finding that students are able to say, oh man, I really thought I liked that. And then they go through maybe a job shadow or maybe they do a semester of an internship and they come back to us and say, not for me. And we really feel like that is a strong aspect to our programming because our students have the opportunity to explore and it still doesn't cost them money for classes or whatever, but it also gives them the opportunity to see the world in a different light. And our students have come back and said they truly appreciate that.
We've done a lot of through our professional development, a little call to action for any administrators or teacher leaders out there. During our PD, we have had days and moments where we focus on community partners. So we tell teachers to look at your curriculum map, look at the standards you're teaching right now, and how might you be able to partner with, if I'm a core content teacher, how can I partner with somebody down in the CTE wing, or how can I partner with somebody in the community that can really help bring these standards to life for our students. And that has been, we've seen a huge increase in that over the last couple of years. Some of the best projects in this building have been when my art teacher has collaborated with our CTE preschool, or when our culinary teacher has collaborated with the biology classes to do a project. Our chemistry teacher has been working with our automotive teacher, and watching those groups of kids get together and see the connection between our career pathways, what they might be doing in our community someday, and those core content that they are learning that sometimes they're asking themselves, why am I learning this? Watching those light bulbs go off over the last several years has been fascinating. Now, we are just scratching the surface of where we want to be with that. But I think it's important through your PD, you have to give teachers time to collaborate together and to think about, okay, now I know my standards, I know my competencies. How can I bring those to my community? How can I bring those to life for my students inside of my classroom? And so I encourage you to give your teachers time to collaborate together and to think together, to reach out to other teachers in the area, other CTE teachers, and don't let your core content teachers off the hook, because our core content teachers have been a huge catalyst in taking a lot of our CTE programs really to the next level. They are just important in those areas as your specific, specialized, certified, and CTE teacher.
And one of the things we did to help that along is allowing our teachers, and through Perkins, allowing our teachers to observe each other. Having a core teacher go to a CTE teacher's class and a CTE teacher going to a core teacher's class, so that they can see what's really going on in those classes and how and what they can do in the way of their standards and their competencies to work together. It's been amazing to see the projects that have evolved from that interaction.
Absolutely. And at the bottom, you see a lot of our related activities. These are just things that we do. These activities mean a lot to our building, and most of them are areas in which we collaborate with the greater community. One of the biggest things we do is a junior day on the job, and so it's a collaboration between the city. It's a collaboration between our private businesses, our hospital. The Osho Community College is starting to play a bigger role in that, and we get together in this big meeting throughout the spring leading into the fall, and we plan what is this day going to look like. And our kids literally get to go out into our community. They get to step foot in American Eagle, which is an industry we have here in town, in Kalmar, and then they get to go to other stations and really learn from professionals, from people who are in the heartbeat of those careers, talking to them about the career, answering questions that they might have. And again, it's another one of those days, like Stella said at the beginning, that we are showing our students all the amazing things that we have to offer right here in Ottawa and right here in Franklin County. That is the biggest goal in an activity like that we do. And it requires a great deal of organization, a great deal of teamwork, but that is a fantastic thing for our students, and it's a great thing for our community. The community volunteers that come around that table, it's amazing what they pull off, and they enjoy doing it. They look forward to doing it every year. I think they would be very heartbroken and sad if we ever came to them and said that wasn't something we wanted to engage in. So you'll see a variety of other activities listed below that we do. Our student-led conferences this year were a huge success. It was the first year we'd ever done it. We had over 80% of our students engage with us, and their parents came and sat down with those one-on-one meetings with their advisory teacher and really talked about some of those Zello activities and some of the things that they have been doing inside their advisory classes. And we had a lot of parents that were pleased with the things that their students had to say to them, and were happy that they could either articulate their goals, or we had several students that were too scared to tell their parent what it was that they really wanted to do, that were able to have an adult alongside them and have that conversation like, hey mom, I really don't want to be an engineer, I kind of want to be an art teacher right now, and this is why. And there were some very powerful conversations between advisory teachers, students, and families that we witnessed on those 2 evenings when we did that last spring. So if you have any questions about any of these activities that relate to our community partnerships, do not hesitate to reach out to one of us. We could spend the next hour telling you about all of the cool partnerships that we have here in Ottawa. And again, I want to remind you that this has been a journey, a 15-year journey. This is not something that Stella and I did overnight. It's not something that we can do alone. It is truly a district-wide effort. And our teachers get huge kudos for helping us make these things happen for our kids every day.
And So again, Kelly talked earlier about using the resources that the Kansas Department of Ed gives us, and this is just one of them. As you know, with the new Perkins 5 legislation, work-based learning is a huge part of Perkins. And this graph came from Stacy Smith at KSDE, and it's been used in several presentations. At different events. But again, this is pretty close to the format that we follow in regard to looking at starting with career awareness and going all the way up to career preparation. Before COVID hit last year, our a lot of our pathways were going to do a cars afternoon with our fourth graders, and bringing all those pathways that use any kind of a vehicle, and they were going to help us put that together so that kids could come and start getting that career awareness at an early age. And unfortunately, we didn't get to pull it off, but we had a lot of our students and teachers involved in that process. And again, going on to career exploration and then career preparation. And again, to be honest with you, I just use the forms that KSDE gives us. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. Another piece that's very important to USD 290 are career and technical student organizations. Mm-hmm. Our teachers get support. We have FCCLA, FFA, FBLA, Skills USA, HOSA. And so again, we give our students the opportunity to be involved in competitive events and also to really increase their leadership skills. And that has really helped them in the long run be good leaders in our community, even at the high school level.
And so kind of where we want to leave you today is with a few calls to action. And so we encourage you, after viewing this video, to sit down with your building leadership teams, to sit down with the leaders that are in your building and start writing down a list of who are those businesses that you could connect with in your community, because it only takes that first partnership and that first story that you're able to tell about something awesome that you did to a student, how you were able to capitalize on their learning from school, to share with other business partnerships and to gain that bank of who is going to collaborate with you. So we encourage you to take time to do that. The other thing we encourage you to do is that maybe you're ready to look at your post-secondary institutions. We are not an AP school. That is not something that would fit our community well. And so we do a lot of dual credit opportunities for our kids. And that's what we thrive on. Our parents love it. Our students love it. Our school board is extremely supportive in those opportunities that we give to our students. So we encourage you, if maybe this is a route you are ready to look down, sit down with that building leadership team, sit down with some leaders in your building and start thinking about what are those post-secondary institutions in your community, but other online opportunities that you might be able to start engaging your students in as well. And then the last one is, we encourage you to have discussions about how you can use your community resources to build those strong bridges between what you offer in your building and what is out there in your community. And again, start somewhere. We encourage you to find one pathway or one business that you can engage with and start somewhere, because that's exactly what Ottawa High School did many, many years ago. We started somewhere, and it has been absolutely fascinating to watch it grow and to watch it morph into what it is today. Like Stella said, we don't reinvent the wheel around here. We are all about collaborating. We are all about stealing those ideas from experts out there. Stella is our Kansas State Department of Education expert, and she is constantly bringing us to, these are just two examples of some of the things that we utilize to do our work. And so you won't find very often us swaying from what the state recommends. We might be doing it our own way or figuring out our own groove within that recommendation, but we utilize a lot of what they have to offer. And so we just thank you for taking a few minutes to let us tell you about our story. Please do not hesitate to contact either one of us. Our superintendent, Dr. Cobbs, was the principal at Ottawa High School, and he has laid the groundwork. Stella was here working alongside him with him for many years, and the two of them really laid the groundwork to where we are today. So please reach out to us, ask us any questions that you have. We love to have visitors. Yes. We love to share what we are doing. We've had a lot of schools reach out that they want to come and visit our career pathways and see what it is that we are doing and how we're getting our teachers and our students excited and motivated in those areas. So thank you again for taking a few minutes to view this today, and let us know if you have any questions.
Thank you.